you cannot hold your people accountable. You can't. It's my belief. You cannot hold anybody accountable. Each person has to hold him or herself accountable.
Love is a strategy.
Hello and welcome to Love as a Strategy, a podcast that brings humanity to the workplace. Hold on, sorry. One quick thing. I can cut all this out. Patsy, will you, I'm getting a high fidelity pickup off one of you two. So basically it's like every little sniff and even maybe like even slight movement is getting picked up right now. I don't know if you guys are hearing it or if one of you's hearing it. Patrick, are you hearing it?
I do. I actually thought it was coming from Patsy. It might be the mic by her. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's incredibly sensitive. So I'm just gonna see if we want to, like, it's picking up like even like the opening of your lips, like the crackling of your, like.
Do you want me to take my earbuds off?
We can try.
Okay.
Let's see, test. Can you hear me? Am I feeding back? I don't hear it so far. Can you talk, Patsy?
Yeah, sure can.
That's
that help?
probably better. I think the sound was clearer before, but it was almost too clear. It had like every ambient sound coming through.
Great.
Okay. Sorry about that. And
It's all
we'll
right.
keep
I
rolling.
was just wondering what it'd be like to record without my earbuds. So you gave me that chance.
I usually always, the earbuds you're using are my favorite ones. I've just never heard it. I've never heard it that sensitive. So anyways, all right, I'll take it from the top. Hello and welcome to Love as a Strategy, a podcast that brings humanity to the workplace. We're here to talk about all things business, but we want to tackle topics that most business leaders shy away from. We believe that humanity and love should be at the center of every successful business. I'm your host, Jeff Ma, and as always, I'm here to have conversations and hear stories from real people about real life, real business. And joining me today are two experts who specialize in helping leaders navigate the messy and complex world of high growth business. Patrick Lyons is the co-founder of the Lyons Group and co-host of the Frustrated CEO podcast, where he helps executive teams find their footing during major transitions. And alongside him is Patsy Feeman, a principal at the Lyons Group who brings a fascinating background in architecture and design to the world of organizational systems. And together, they're helping CEOs design teams that actually work. And I'm so excited to have both of you, Patrick, Patsy, to the show. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're all doing well. How's it going?
Great to be here.
Going great.
You.
Awesome. I have a question I always like to start with. And so I'll start with you, Patrick, on this. What is your passion and how did you find it?
My passion is, it's two words. It's unleashing greatness. Anyone that I work with, I just have an unshakable belief that there is a greatness inside, not goodness, but like great, this amazing toolbox that is unique and different and everybody brings into every situation. I believe that to live an impactful life, you don't have to be anything more than you are, but you damn well better not be anything less. And so for me, the passion is on helping somebody find and discover and own that greatness and then unleash it around them. And it comes out of just a period of my own life where I really struggled to even believe that there was anything, forget great, anything even good about me. So, very often your passion comes from your story, and that's absolutely the case for me.
I love that. Patsy, same question. What's your passion? How'd you find it?
My passion is helping people bring their authentic selves to the work they do within organizations that support them to bring their authentic selves to the work they do. And similar to Patrick, I discovered it because that's not what I got. So I stumbled around and people kept telling me it was great, but I didn't believe it. And nobody gave me the support. And it's business is a messy world out there. So.
Fair. I love it. Two really important answers, actually, I guess, because our topic today is around accountability. This is probably my favorite topic and probably one of the hardest ones to talk about when you talk about what I talk about, which is love. And people always see love and accountability in very different worlds. And today, I would love to learn from both of you what accountability means to you. And Patrick, I love your passion of unleashing greatness. And there's this idea of unleashing someone's potential and bringing it out of them. And I'm so curious what role accountability plays in that and how that needs to look to do it right. So Patrick, I'll start with you. Like, can you high level kick me off in what accountability even means at a baseline for you?
Yeah. So for us, I'll say this: there's not a client that we've worked with or a business owner that we've ever talked to where accountability hasn't been a frustration. I think it's a universal issue. Every leader just laments, "I wish we had more accountability in our organization." Um, for us, we're very similar hearts to you in that accountability is often seen as a hammer, right? Like we have to beat people into compliance or into, we have to hold them accountable as if it's an external force. Whereas for us, we approach accountability much more like a mirror rather than, I just firmly believe the best tools are mirrors and not hammers. It's not, why aren't you holding yourself accountable? It's, how do I hold myself more accountable? And so that's our approach with anytime the topic comes up is stop trying to hold anybody accountable. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but you cannot hold me accountable. The only person who can hold me accountable is me. What you have to do as my leader is hold to the standard. You have to not lower the standard down to meet my performance or my expectations, but it's not done out of, performance or behavior, but it's not done out of, again, out of compliance or a hammer approach. It is done out of love. It's that encouragement, seeing the potential in your people and calling that out of them because that does give them an opportunity to unleash that greatness. They can bring their whole selves to the organization. And, when everybody starts in the mirror and holds themselves accountable and the leaders hold to the standard, man, you get a whole team pulling in the same direction. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I think the picture you're painting is very powerful and also feels way easier said than done
Yes.
right out the gate.
Mhm.
Patsy, I'm curious from your perspective, what tangibly needs to happen to move from this philosophically wonderful world where everyone's holding a mirror up to themselves and holding themselves accountable to the kind of quote unquote real world? How do we bridge that?
Well, first, I think we have to stand on a foundation of seeing it as how we take care of ourselves and each other and the organization in alignment with what matters. So, what matters to me, what matters to our team, what matters. And as Patrick said, it does start with me, although it eventually needs to move to starts with me. How do I hold myself accountable? Extends to others. How do we hold our teams accountable? And how do we do that within an organization where our cultures, our culture and our living, our values are all in alignment? So first, the self-accountability again starts with us. What do I say? What do I do to keep my word? I have to be reliable. So I have to be reliable and I have to be visible in my commitments. I have to be clear on my agreements. What is somebody asking me to do? Am I agreeing to do that? And there can't be any ambiguity. If somebody's asking for something in pink, then I need to deliver it in pink. I may need to even ask what shade of pink. If that's not clear, if I'm not clear about what's being asked of me, then I need to ask, Patrick, what do you mean by this? Or if I don't have the skills to do it, can you help me learn how to do this? You can't leave things unsaid. If there's any lack of clarity in my accountability, then I need to get that cleared up.
Mm.
Because without it, then I'm off on the wrong track and I'm delivering something that I haven't been asked to deliver. So you can see very quickly the stakes get higher and higher, even with asking for something in a shade of pink.
Yeah. And I think it's much more tangible to picture some of the actions and behaviors you're kind of or kind of explaining here. But I can't help but wonder what's keeping us from doing that now, right? Like, why is if it was easy as saying, oh, we just got to speak up and ask when we need it, or we have to be clear, what what in today's space makes that so hard, and also how do we address that? And I'll point it to Patrick, I guess, if you have an answer.
I think again, if you're talking about moving from a place of love, one of the things that keeps leaders from having the hard conversation about the performance gap and the gap between my expectations of you and what you're actually bringing. And again, I can't make you be accountable for filling that gap. My responsibility as the leader is to have that hard conversation with you, to be clear, as Patsy was alluding to, be clear in the expectations, hold the standards, hold the expectations, have the conversation with you about that gap. And then what is my role in supporting you? Is it you need professional development, you need encouragement, you need, some people do respond to a challenge. But what is my role in supporting you? And then not not lowering, not giving up on you. I almost feel like that. It's like we give up on people by getting to a point where like, well, you know what, that's all we're going to get from that person, instead of respecting them, loving them enough to have that conversation, say, no, actually, I know you can do more. So I think, to get very specific, one of the things that keeps us from doing that is the managerial courage, the leadership courage, or the love, even, to have a difficult conversation that's not personal, that it's not about beating you up. It's really about calling you into what is possible.
Mm.
And I genuinely believe this. The greatest gift you can give any of your people is real honest feedback about how they're performing. Because I think it's more valuable than their paycheck. Because if there's a gap in the performance and you don't give them that honest feedback, the paycheck is at risk. So now somebody's potentially losing their job because I didn't have the courage to hold to the standard and give them an opportunity to rise and meet or exceed those standards.
Mm.
And I'd
I
add
think
one thing to that is I don't think we get promoted into higher and higher levels of responsibility, but often people don't develop the skills to set clear expectations, set clear standards. So even our leaders don't know how to set, accountability standards so that if the person that is receiving them knows what to do. And then there's a fear or desire to be liked. Patrick's saying, I don't know how to have those conversations. There's a myth that it's a hammer, not an outstretched hand. So it gets complicated very quickly.
sure. I I feel like I'm gonna play almost like a devil's advocate here, just for
Good.
the sake of conversation. Um, you mentioned something, Patrick, around the lines of, doing it in a loving way, but it's not personal. And to me, there's such a conflict in me in
Mm.
processing that statement. One, because I feel like love is personal. Like, if you're doing something lovingly, there is a personal element to it. But also, just away from that, it feels like when we receive hard feedback, it's almost human nature to take it personally. And
Yes.
so help me, I guess, again, navigate that through your lens. Like, what is it? Can you clarify love versus this gift you're giving of feedback, but also how to keep that per just the right amount of personal, or however you define it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think what I mean by it's not personal, meaning that's the fear. It's like if I make a mistake on a spreadsheet, it's very easy for you as my leader to point that out and say, hey, listen, you got a calculation error, you transpose the numbers, whatever it is. But the minute you start talking about my behavior, perhaps I'm not living or leading the values. The minute you start talking about how I'm showing up in a meeting, or yeah, where it just feels personal. Whereas instead of it's not about the person. It really is about my unleashing that greatness, like that subtle change that I might make based on the feedback you give me about how I'm, body language, or it's not what I say, but how I'm saying it. You give me that. Um, I can take that. I can grow. I can get better and bridge that gap. So that's what I mean by it's not personal. But I agree. To me, love is it's very personal. That's why it's when I'm faced with that fear of having a challenging conversation with you, where I don't want to have this conversation. It's going to be awkward for both of us. Um, it's remembering that it's like tough love as a parent, right? And like this really is for you. Now, often say, I often encourage managers, check your heart, right? I can say that this is for you, but really it's for me. Like really, this is me venting my frustration, or this is me, yeah, saying emptying some frustration out on you. And that's not moving from a place of love. That's why I said, start in the mirror. Am I genuinely doing this because I believe in you and I care about you enough to give you this honest feedback? Because to me, the worst part of the job is letting somebody go. It's always the worst part of the job. And to me, the only way you can rest your head at night and sleep as a leader after you've done that is if you know that you did everything you possibly could to help that person be successful. And that's being clear about the standards, communicating what the gap is, and supporting a person in trying to bridge that gap. But ultimately, that's the whole point of accountability. It is on each of us. It's on them. It's on me to meet the standards or the expectations that have been given to me by my leader.
Yeah. Is it fair to say, as I'm listening to you, is it fair to say then that part of this equation includes establishing clear intent and intention between people? Because what I'm hearing is, if I'm coming to you, Patsy, and I'm saying, I mean, it's one thing, like you said, to say, hey, this was wrong because it was an error, and that's easy to point out, and you can say fair. But it's a different thing to say, look, the way you just presented might have rubbed people the wrong way. That's almost like my opinion, my kind of, there's feelings involved now that
Mhm.
and so it sounds like part of this equation. Yes, it's clarity around a lot of things, but in these hazier areas, it's almost like the most important thing is for you, Patsy, to trust that I come with love and the intent to improve you and to bring the best out of you and unleash your greatness. Is that fair to say? And is
That's
that
no, I actually think that's foundational, Jeff, what you're talking about. And it's hard for me maybe as the leader to trust that. It's hard for you as the recipient to trust that. But we talk a lot about mindset. So, it's a mindset here that I care about you. You matter to me. You matter to us as an organization. And I'm going to give you that feedback and that context. And I'm going to have to, I'm not going to do it perfect. I mean, people, every single person you give feedback to is in a different place at a different time.
mm, how do you then build that? Um, is there intentional ways you can make sure that intent is more exposed or clear or trusted amongst groups of people?
Absolutely. If I'm the leader, I need a coach, or I need a leader that I can get professional development. That's what we're talking about here, is professional development and growth. And I need somebody I can go to and say, Jeff, I just tried what you'd suggested and I totally flubbed. What do I do? To go back to the person and apologize, or I totally succeeded. Help me refine this. It's about growth and development over time.
So to kind of close all of this out, this has been an amazing and great, like, clarifying way to look at accountability. I like to leave listeners with like a challenge, if you will. So something that's usually doable. It's not like a go change everything you are about who you are, nothing huge, but more something micro that they can go and experiment and try this week, right? What's a challenge that you might have for someone listening to this saying, you know what, I want to go and experiment with a new type of kind of accountability. Give me one, and you can each give me one if you like kind of challenge to give anybody out there to just go try.
Great. I'd
Uh,
love to jump into that one. So
Go ahead, please.
I think we have to pause when you're getting ready to interact or offer somebody some feedback, especially around accountability. We have to pause. What am I doing this for? What kind of mood am I in? What kind of state am I in? And why am I doing this? So if we're not clear and aligned before we speak, then we can be off base pretty quickly. So one practical thing is stop, notice how you're feeling, what's going on in your body, why are you doing this? Then take the action.
Awesome. Patrick, one for you.
I guess I'll end where I started, which is maybe pay attention to even just the language that is used in the organization about who is trying to hold people accountable. So as a leader, it is a mindset shift to just accept you cannot hold your people accountable. You can't. It's my belief. You cannot hold anybody accountable. Each person has to hold him or herself accountable. But what you as the leader must do in order for that to happen is you must hold to the standards. You must hold the expectations. And that means Patsy said, you have to know what they are and you have to communicate them and then give people an opportunity to hold themselves accountable. Now, the conversation when they're not doing that might look like this. Hey, I need you to hold yourself accountable, not I need to hold you accountable, because I think that's why so many leaders are frustrated. How's that working for us? Trying to hold other people accountable, communicate the gaps, but the only person who's going to hold anybody accountable is each. I mean, it's a mirror thing.
Awesome. I love it. I'm gonna try it myself, but in the meantime, can you all share a little bit about yourselves, just quickly about how they can reach you? I know there's the podcast, but also the Lions Group itself. Anything you would like to share?
Sure. I'll go first. Yeah, you can find us at the lionsgroupconsulting.com. I'm always available by email. You can email at Patrick at the lionsgroupconsulting.com. I know it's long, but it's 2026 and like everything else was taken. So it is what it is. But Patsy.
Awesome.
Yes, you can reach me also at Patsy at the lionsgroupconsulting.com. And you can also reach me on LinkedIn.
That's actually, yeah, you can find us both on LinkedIn. We'd love to connect with. So
awesome. Well, with that, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. It was a really wonderful conversation. I hope to be able to continue this in another episode at some point. But in the meantime, everyone go please check out the podcast and go connect with Patrick and Patsy, and appreciate the listeners for all your continued support. Check out our books if you haven't, still on the shelves somewhere. And we'll talk to everybody next week in 2 weeks. So with that, goodbye, farewell. And that's it.
awesome.
Thank you.
Thoughts? I mean, meet
It was great.
expectations. Good.
I mean, I did great. I was.
Yes, you did.
I'm kidding. But it was great. I mean,
Good.
You guys share the space well, really good points. And it was how do you all feel about it?
Good.
Fun.
You're right. 20 minutes goes by fast.
Very fast. Yes.
And I love
Yes.
Patrick's suggestion of addressing us each. I think that really helped.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, then with that, I'm gonna go work on this. It'll probably be, slated wise, it's still like a month and a half to two in terms of queue. But if for whatever reason you need, you want something, you want a copy of the raw, I can always help you out with that. But in the meantime, I'll be notifying you when it's going live, slated in, and then we'll share it with all the links and whatnot.
Beautiful. Thank you. Do you need our socials to tag? Because we have a social media, we have a marketing team that will like, share, post, engage. I mean, we will too, but they're doing a really great job for us on getting more eyes on ours, and by tagging our guests and things like that. So if you want
Yeah,
that, great.
can you send me that in an email, like all the
You bet.
ways that you'd like us to include in sharing it, and then
Sure.
of course, in kind, I'll send back like if you can share ours when it
Oh,
comes
you
out.
bet.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd say, yeah, please do share yours, because we'll make sure to tag you on the same thing. I'm a
awesome.
big fan of the model that you have. That's why we had Mohammed on the show.
Yeah, yeah,
So
for sure. Yeah,
yeah,
really
awesome.
connected, really aligned. So really
Yep.
happy to have had you all on here, and yeah, 20 minutes. There it is.
Yep.
And we're
Well,
done.
thank you. You
All
did
right,
well.
you guys
Thank you.
have a wonderful
Thanks
rest of
for
your week and weekend.
You too. We'll be in
Talk
touch.
to you all
Thanks.
soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.